Hey, Kaz Wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NXT Level Up from August 12th, 2022. So the past few weeks of Level Up have been some of the best in its short history as a show. So let's see if that continues tonight. We do have a debuting tag team in the main event. So we'll get to that in the main event, but we'll start with the first match. This week's episode of NXT Level Up starts with the amazing music of Ikemen Jiro, and Ikemen Jiro comes out. The big cheers here. He's all alone. It's just a singles match. I was kind of hoping it might be the new Jacket Time tag team where Quincy Elliott has now replaced Kushida, who went back to New Japan and is also wrestling in Impact Wrestling. But it'll be Ikemen Jiro in singles match. He's called up here to teach another youngster some singles match action after Ikemen Jiro has almost 1,000 matches in his career. He's going to take on Myles Borne, who only has about 8 or 9 professional wrestling matches in his career. So that's why Ikemen Jiro's on the roster to be a teacher, and Myles Borne now comes out next. He's from North Carolina, and Myles has a 17-year experience in folk style wrestling and amateur style, but only has about, like I said, 5 to 10 pro wrestling matches in his career. Ikemen starts this match out by evading the much larger Myles Borne. Then Jiro pops up from a shoulder tackle twice, and he's this entire beginning of the match here. Ikemen has been trying to get in the head of Myles, kind of being wacky, but also just basically trying to fluster the young rookie here. Jiro's now able to hit a slam, showing that his power shouldn't be underestimated, as Myles Borne's much larger than him. They both block a move, but Jiro ends that little flurry by hitting a middle rope missile drop kick for a 2 count. And then young Myles Borne has not won a match yet. He lost time to the rookie Javier Bernal, who's even smaller than Jiro. So Myles Borne is definitely looking to get his first ever professional win. But Myles takes control now and getting a 2 count. Myles hits a snap suplex, maintains control, and then hits a vertical suplex right after that. The crowd was booing it the whole time he started doing that because they thought it was going to be the three amigos. It wasn't really that, and that was kind of funny. Ikemen Jiro's now in trouble as Myles wraps his back around the ring post, but Jiro taps out here. However, you cannot get a submission victory as the man Jiro was underneath the ropes. So the announcers don't even mention this, and they basically just say, "Oh, I don't know why the referee didn't call the match because he was completely under the ropes, being wrapped around the ring post. That's why." But the reason Jiro did it is to outsmart the rookie, hoping that Myles Borne would let go, thinking he won, and he did get Myles Borne to break the hold. Jiro then takes control and hits a dragon screw leg whip. Now the knee of Myles Borne is hurt. Jiro hits his specialty jacket punches with his hands in the jacket. He fights with a suit coat on. That's part of Jiro's gimmick, and they're also flashy, loud suit coats. So anyway, Jiro lines up and connects with the Ikemen slash. It's either a Psycho knee, or it's a Shining Wizard, or it's a Claymore kick, because all three kind of look similar to me. But it was one of those three things called the Ikemen slash, and that gets the 1, 2, 3 over Myles Borne. The winner of this match by pinfall, the veteran Ikemen Jiro, who gets big cheers from the crowd. The crowd absolutely loves Ikemen Jiro. They also love his new tag team partner, Quincy Elliott. So we've got a really popular tag team that we could bring up at any point. The new Jacket Time, Ikemen Jiro and Quincy Elliott. In the back now, we've got one of the newer recruits in the women's division, Sol Ruca, and she's getting ready for a match tonight against Elektra Lopez. An interviewer asks Sol Ruca how about tonight, and Sol says, "Everyone here in NXT works hard, and I'm no different." Well, I am different. Elektra Lopez, you're a heck of a talent, but she's not prepared for the way I prepare for matches. And I'm about to turn her whole world upside down. Then Sol Ruca handstands and walks her way out of the room on her hands. That was a little bit awkward, but it was a cool talent to show off. Not a bad promo for the first ever promo in Sol Ruca's career. She said her lines decently, only emphasizing a couple wrong words here and there. But that's to be expected, and that's exactly why these men and women should be having promo segments on Level Up. I wish everybody when they came out on Level Up had a little picture-in-picture, just saying a couple lines. That'll just help everybody out going forward, because Level Up's purely a training show. If NXT's the training brand, well, then the Level Up show is the training show of the training brand. So I think everybody should have a little picture in picture interview segment as they're coming out. But at least now it's been over a month, where maybe 5 or 6 weeks in a row, everybody every single one of those shows has at least one person that's in a match that night, or maybe it's a tag team of two people, but they all get to have a little promo segment in the back. So that match is next. It's as Sol Ruca comes out for her third match of her career. She improved a lot from match 1 to 2. Sol Ruca was a Division I athlete in college in the gymnastics team as a tumbler. So she obviously, she has great agility and great flips as well. And she also showed it off with that handstand earlier. Sol Ruca is also a surfer, so she's got really good balance, and that's actually her gimmick in NXT, is a surfer girl from California, where she lives kind of by in Ontario, California, where the Young Bucks live, kind of near like Rancho Cucamonga and stuff like that. So Sol Ruca has a surfer girl gimmick and kind of is the female version of Riddle so far. That's what the vibes I've gotten. So anyway, Elektra Lopez comes out to be your opponent. Elektra doesn't have the legato music. She has the Tony D'Angelo music. So Legado del Fantasma is still under the control of the Tony D'Angelo family, but that might change this Tuesday, where Santos Escobar and Tony D'Angelo have one more singles match to decide the fate of Legado del Fantasma. So I wonder if Elektra Lopez is going to join the rest of Legado del Fantasma on the main roster soon. And if so, this is a very important match right here for Elektra to prove that she can go to the main roster. Sol now uses great agility to evade attacks here over the much larger Lopez, but Lopez gets a hold of her, slamming Sol down hard, using her power advantage here. Sol then nips up right away, but Lopez is still has wrist control here, and Lopez transitions it into a headlock with a nice headlock takeover. Sol's now finding it really hard to get out of here, but eventually handstands her way out of it. Sol leaps over the ropes to evade attacks here, and Lopez uses her side to block a sunset flip attempt. Lopez then drops a knee on the face of Sol for a 2 count, and Lopez works a cravat over the neck and head of Sol, who again is finding it hard to get out of this hold due to Elektra Lopez's power advantage. The crowd's cheering for Sol Ruca to get out of this. Sol tries to lift Lopez up on her shoulders, but Lopez is able to block it. Now Lopez looks for a neck breaker, but Sol blocks that as well. And then Sol quickens the pace with some quick attacks off the ropes, ending with a drop kick. Sol then does a leg sweep and a standing moonsault, but the moonsault misses. That puts Lopez back in control, who hits a big Falcon Arrow on the much smaller Sol Ruca for the 1-2-3. The winner of this match by pinfall, Elektra Lopez. Really good match here, short but good. I could have watched at least 3 more minutes of them fighting for sure, but I guess you don't want to put Sol Ruca, who's only in her third ever match, in a situation where she might start to drown out there. So keep the matches short at the beginning of her career. I get it. But if this was some kind of test to see if Elektra Lopez is indeed experienced enough, or at least to the point where she wouldn't embarrass herself on the main roster, I think Elektra Lopez did a great job of making it look like she was able to she'll be fine if they want to bring her up with the rest of the Legado del Fantasma up to the main roster. And that could be a good of if Legado del Fantasma goes to SmackDown. There was another group that just came back to SmackDown tonight, Hit Row, and that could be an interesting I think maybe they already have. If now that I'm remembering, I think they already had a little bit of a rivalry in NXT, so maybe they could pick that back up on SmackDown. But Sol should have a lot of time. She won't have to rush. She'll have plenty of time to develop. There's about 25 other women ahead of Sol Ruca on the NXT roster right now, which is perfect for Sol. She needs a little bit of time to develop. She's only had 3 matches in her entire career. She shows a lot of promise, but she is a little bit small and is going to have to just learn how to wrestle. So the benefit of having 25 other women on the roster ahead of you is that she's not going to be pushed and rushed. Sol Ruca is not going to be rushed into anything, and Sol should have the time to develop and see if she's a great pro wrestler or not. So when we come back from a break, Chase U is now making their entrance for the main event. It's going to be a tag match. So Andre Chase and Bodhi Hayward are accompanied by Thea Hill. We've seen Andre Chase, all of Chase U losing some matches on NXT UK, but Bodhi Hayward and Thea Hill were looking really good in those matches. So they're going to take on that debuting tag team I was talking about earlier. Next, it's Bronco, Nima, and Lucien Price. Bronco, Nima, and Lucien Price. Both of these guys are big and jacked. We saw both of them in the Ivy Nile Challenge a few months ago, where Bryson Montana lasted the longest out of everyone. These two dropped out of the challenge fairly early. They've both been on the roster, Bronco Nima and Lucien Price, for about 5 or 6 months, and this is going to be their first ever match in the NXT or WWE period. So they have great size to them, and Andre Chase is going to start the match, who's by far the smallest man in this match, but also by far the most experienced. This is literally a teachable moment here. This is why Andre Chase's gimmick isn't really a stretch. He's literally on the roster to teach all the rookies. So just like we were talking about with Ikemen Jiro earlier. So Andre is able to use his technical skills here to counter the much bigger Bronco Nima. Nima eventually catches a cross-body attempt and hits a big slam. Chase won't be able to handle too many more slams like that from the big Bronco Nima. So Lucien Price now tags in, and they hit Andre Chase with a double team, and we're now told that Lucien Price has a dual personality. So sometimes he's nice, sometimes he's not. Damian Priest style. So Bodhi Hayward now is able to tag in. He hits a running shoulder tackle and a power slam for a 2 count on Price. Price then counters a charging Bodhi with a nasty knee strike here. Bodhi looks in a bad way after that one. That one reminded me of the one we saw on SmackDown tonight. But Bronco Nima now tags in and hits a dancing little move before an elbow drop. That only gets him a 1 count. Price now tags in, and they hit a double back elbow on Bodhi Hayward. Really good teamwork from the first time ever tag team here. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price must have been working in the Performance Center for months with plans to form a tag team, because they've got some good double team moves here. Bodhi Hayward's now in big trouble. He's isolated in the wrong corner with quick tags and double teams from Nima and Price. Nima then applies a deep chin lock with his massive size. It's really hard to get out of there. We're now told that Nima lost his father at the age of 12, and then Nima had to help raise his brothers and sisters since he was 12 years old. So Bronco Nima is mature beyond his years because of that. And he's really, really big. So Bodhi Hayward now is able to escape and tag in Andre Chase, who comes in with a ton of fire here on a hot tag. Chase knocks Price off the apron. Then Chase hits a top rope crossbody that works this time against Bronco Nima. Then Chase does the Chase U kicks, and the crowd goes absolutely wild for this. Bodhi Hayward now tags in, and Chase U hits the Fratliner. Yes, the Fratliner double team finisher, while it's Bodhi putting Nima on his back for Andre to do a spinning flatliner off of, and that gets the 1-2-3. The winners of this match by pinfall, Chase U. So that was a really fun match, and the new tag team of Bronco Nima and Lucien Price looked pretty good. I don't know. They definitely didn't seem like that was their first ever match in their history, so maybe they have some training and stuff and matches before NXT, because they definitely looked natural in the ring. If that was their first ever match, wow, because they, like I said, looked like naturals. But either way, great stuff overall, no matter what. Really good debut for this team, Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. So add them the 2 other more tag teams that were formed on Level Up over the last month. First, the one I was talking about earlier, the New Jacket Time with Ikemen Jiro and Quincy Elliott. Then about a month ago, we saw Bryson Montana form a tag team with Damaris Griffin. And now we've got Bronco Nima and Lucien Price as well. So 3 more tag teams to add to the division. And that pretty much now makes it so that every man in the Performance Center has debuted. There might be one left over. I'll have to look. I didn't have time because I'm really busy. I've got 3 more reviews to do after this. But I'll get some more info for when they come on next time. but it's really going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, like I said, we've debuted every single men on the roster basically that's in the Performance Center has debuted at least on Level Up. There's also only 2 women left over on the Performance Center that haven't debuted. One of them is The Rock's daughter, Ava Rain, who I'm guessing they're just waiting for the absolute like most amount of training they can give Ava Rain until debuting her on the roster, because of the fact that Ava Rain is going to have so much pressure on her being The Rock's daughter. The other woman we did see have her first match at a house show, an untaped event last weekend in an NXT house show, and that's Jakara Jackson. Now, we have seen Jakara Jackson debut on TV in an unnamed role in the background during all the Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes barbershop segments. So maybe Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes will be with Jakara Jackson going forward. We don't know that. While we have not seen Jakara Jackson named on TV yet or anything like that. But like I said, she made her debut match at a house show. We've also seen Ava Rain, who I said hasn't debuted yet. She's also been at a house show, but only in a promo segment. So Ava Rain's at the house shows working on her promo segments and probably working really hard at the Performance Center to make her debut match, which will probably be on NXT regular 2.0 and not Level Up, since it's The Rock's daughter with her debut match, which they really, really want to, if that's the case, they really want to make sure Ava Rain is absolutely ready to do her absolute best in her debut match. And with millions of people are going to watch that. Even non-wrestling fans are going to be like, oh, The Rock's daughter making her debut match. I want to see the highlights. So then if they see there's a ton of botches, Ava Rain's going to get so much hate over it, and it's going to be a messy situation. So I understand why Ava Rain, they're waiting and waiting and waiting for the absolute best time. But all of this that I've been saying in the last couple of minutes leads me to believe that there is a lot of room for WWE to make a lot of call-ups to the main roster. You could probably bring up all of the Legado del Fantasma, maybe even all of Toxic Attraction, and still, now that we've established on Level Up about 8 or 9 new men in the last 3 or 4 months that are all waiting to make their debut on NXT 2.0. They're all looking comfortable. Some of them are getting huge reactions from the crowd, including Quincy Elliott with the new jacket time. You could bring those guys onto NXT 2.0 and have them featured in storylines, and they're instantly, even if nobody's ever heard of them, the crowd reactions that this crowd's going to give them when they come out on national TV for the first time are going to be huge. Now, I know Jiro's been there, and maybe even Quincy Elliott's shown up once, but you know what I mean? Finally getting some storylines and featured, and then people like a Javier Bernal is now getting big boos from the crowd. So Javier Bernal can come out and do something despicable, and then the crowds are going to boo him instantly, and people are going to be like, "Oh, who's this Javier Bernal guy?" So I do think they've now set up enough people on the Performance Center that have made their debuts and gotten good training on Level Up, even with promo training, that they can now call up about 5 women and 5 men to the main roster, and then now we can easily replace them with all these people that we've had debut on Level Up in the last 3 months. So I think it's a really good time. We're gonna see people like a Kaylee Ray, now known as Alba Fire. She should be on the main roster. All of Legado del Fantasma probably will be on the main roster. All of Toxic Attraction I could see on the main roster, and maybe a few other of the men. Maybe a Braun Breaker, a Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and stuff like that. You can easily bring all of those people up to the main roster before we get to Royal Rumble and still have them be able to be replaced for the 2-hour weekly show you have NXT every week. So all those people that are going to be called up are going to be replaced with your Javier Bernals. Your Myles Borne looks like he's ready to have a storyline. You've got people like Hank Walker, who did appear on this week's this week's NXT, but only as a security guard. So Javier Bernal was also in that same segment talking to Cameron Grimes. So slowly but surely, we're bringing some of these people up to the main show, not just the Level Up show. And a lot of them look like they're ready for national TV, and it'll be exciting to watch. Then, and even in the background, we've got even more people that are just making their debuts, like we did tonight with the tag team of Bronco Nima and Lucius Price. We've also got someone like a Saul Ruca, who's only had 3 matches in her entire career. So we've got people on coming in. And now I'm assuming once we take up 5 men, 5 women to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown, we bring up some of the level up people to NXT 2.0, and then that'll be when we bring in some more recruits. Remember, there was just a tryout at Nashville before SummerSlam, so I'm assuming that Triple H is going to bring in 5, 6, 7, maybe of those people, men and women from the Nashville tryouts. So we'll get about 5 men, 5 women called up to the main roster. We'll have 5 men, 5 women come from Level Up to the national televised NXT 2.0, and then we'll bring in about 5 men, 5 women to the Performance Center to start back over, hopefully debuting on Level Up to replace the people we took from Level Up to NXT 2.0 proper. At that point. Now, with Triple H back in charge, you can almost guarantee that he's also going to bring in some indie talent, maybe someone like Christian, what's his name? Blake Christian, someone like that who was released from NXT might also get brought back to NXT, and he could replace some of these guys that we're going to be taking up. So I think the whole system right now is looking healthy. We've got a bunch of recruits from Level Up that are ready to make their national TV debuts on NXT 2.0, and then we've got some more people we can bring in to replace them on Level Up. And the process will keep going. Not everybody's going to make it to be a star, but the process has to keep going. So good stuff overall. I'll be back with NXT 2.0 Heat Wave this Tuesday. Huge event, a lot of titles on the line, including a grudge match with Roxanne Perez getting her hands on Cora Jade. So a lot to look forward to this Tuesday. I'm sure we'll see a lot of big things. We've also got a couple women in the women's tag team tournament in WWE next week on SmackDown. Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons will make their SmackDown debuts. So a lot to look forward to coming up with the NXT brand. And I'm sure we're going to get a new round of recruits, Performance Center recruits added any day now. Don't forget, there was this Cuban woman who's got a great look to her and an MMA background, and she looks like she's a huge star. Right off the top of my head, I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but she's another one that's going to come into the Performance Center really, really soon, and then we'll see her as well. She looks like she might be one for the future. So there's a lot to look forward to on the NXT brand. I'll be here to cover it all. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back with G1 coverage a little bit later tonight, as well as Rampage and Emergence from Impact Wrestling. So give me a subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Have a good weekend. Peace.